What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Rams Brothers. I'm your host, Dean, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother and the other great host of this show, Nick. And Nick, do you see the hat that I'm wearing? This is to remind 49ers fans that it has been 29 long years since they've been able to wear a hat like this. And now the Rams have gotten a win in their home opener when it was about 75% Niners fans in SoFi Stadium. But first and most importantly, how are you, my good brother?
Amazing. We don't lead all game until there are 4 seconds left, and everybody's texting me, congratulations, good win. And there's still 2 seconds left on the clock, and I'm like, I'm going to kill you specifically if they blow this game. And they almost did at the very end. But I'm amazing. What a win. What a team. So happy that we're sitting here not talking about what's going to happen next season right now, and just know that like we're still in this. We are still in this 100%.
It's the difference of 0-3 and 1-2, and they're also a coin flip away from being 2-1, right?
Yeah.
And being second in the division. The division right now is 3-0 Seattle, and then all 3 remaining teams: Arizona, the Rams, and the San Francisco 49ers. The Super Bowl.
I'll tell you right now, 3-0 Seattle is the most fraudulent 3-0 I've seen as well.
Well, I mean, they've had a light schedule. They beat the Patriots in overtime. They beat the Broncos in week 1. And who was it today that they beat?
They beat the Dolphins on their third string quarterback.
Right. Skylar Thompson or Skylar, whatever the hell the quarterback's name is. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So this is the scene in SoFi Stadium as the Bang Bang Escalator gang were leaving after another loss, another huge loss in SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
with California Love playing as it sends them out of the stadium again. Unbelievable win. I mean, I think you got to give a lot of credit, obviously, to Sean McVay, obviously to the most relentless quarterback in the league in Matthew Stafford. But how about Kyren Williams? How about Tutu Atwell? And how about Xavier Smith with the punt return late in the game?
All the positives, top to bottom offense, top to bottom special teams, which I never thought I would say. And then defense up, we'll get into that later. But yeah, I mean, Kyren Williams, give him a game ball, Josh Party, and Xavier Smith. Those would be my 3 predicted game balls.
I mean, so you were talking about to me before the game or before the episode started, we were talking about special teams, right? And we said it in the last episode, if special teams is perfect, then the Rams are going to get one of the keys to victory. But that 16-play, 87-yard touchdown drive was essential to the Rams being able to get some points on the board in the first half. And without it, it felt like it was going to be another continuation of the Arizona Cardinals game. So you have to be able to kind of string together some of those things. And
it's 14-0. It's 14-0, and they pull a play out of Bonesy's. They don't throw it, but they sneak it and they run it with, I think it was Ronnie Rivers who picked up the first down on special teams there. And yeah, it's 14-0. You put yourself in a position with that to make it a 1-score game, thanks to special teams. So like it was a make no mistake, kitchen sink game. We needed to win this. It's the home opener, and they found a way. They didn't lead the entire game until 2 seconds are left remaining, and they win the game.
Yeah, it was just really impressive. I mean, like it's a team that you can very easily go 0-3. You're without Cooper Kupp. You're without Puka Nacua. Right, you lost your starting left guard in Jonah Jackson. You lost Steve Avila. So 4 of your most essential pieces on offense are all banged up. You needed a big game from Tutu Atwell. You needed a big game from Demarcus Robinson, and you needed Tyler Johnson to be able to step up. And you needed even guys like Logan Bruss. They struggled a little bit, but Bo Limmer, 6th-round pick, was incredibly impressive again. And he could be a staple of the offense moving forward. And then you look on the defensive side of the ball, Braden Fisk was one of the first, I think the first rookie in Rams history to recover 2 fumbles in back-to-back weeks. So you're getting really good performances sideline to sideline from Byron Young. You're getting the same thing from Jared Verse. Jared Verse's strength is just on display to the point where his bull rush is so strong and so fast, he's blowing by the quarterback. Like you
too much.
To leave yourself some room, right, to be able to stab inside and make a play on the quarterback. But there are some of these guys are so quick defensively, and obviously the secondary had some issues. Juwan Jennings had an incredible game. Brock Purdy was down both of his top 2 weapons in Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. But so were we. Like the playing field was even, and the Rams were the more desperate team. And sometimes it's any given Sunday. Sometimes you just need the opportunity to be able to get right. And this was a get-right game, season still on track. And, the Rams still have a shot.
I would say it wasn't even it wasn't even an even match, because I would attribute the 12th man to San Francisco with their attendance, just because they always filled that stadium. And it didn't matter, because even like with an uneven match, we still took the W away from them, which was fantastic. I really thought throughout that game, though, it was the inexperience on defense that was going to get us the loss.
Sure.
How many penalties? Like, it was like 100 yards on penalties. Like, the Rams were penalized so much. And that is a really hard thing to overcome, especially when it's like, it's just penalty after penalty, and it's 3rd and 10, and now it's 1st down, and the defense has to stay out there, and it's a young defense, and they're not disciplined. But they were able to overcome it, especially in the 4th quarter. You finally hit Brock Purdy after the announcer said he had enough time to order furniture on his phone. Like, I don't know where that came from, but they found a way. The defense found a way to close out this game.
Mark Sanchez is trying to stay relevant after the butt fumble. He's trying to be funny. He's trying to bring some comedic presence to the color of the broadcast. But the penalties actually were pretty interesting, because the 49ers had 7 penalties, 111 penalty yards. The Rams only had 8 penalties to 75 penalty yards. But it was that second defensive series, to me, where it was like there were 3 or 4 calls. There was a illegal contact penalty. There was the one play where I think it was Brandon Ayuk or it was Juwan Jennings. He stepped out of bounds, and they called an illegal contact on Colby Durant. Like, there were 3 or 4 calls, ticky-tacky, defensive holding calls that seemed to go against the Rams in so many different scenarios. And you know what? When your back's up against the wall and you're at home, you have to be able to overcome those things. And that's what Sean McVay, it's coach speak, but Sean McVay will come out there after the game in the presser and be like, we had to overcome a lot of adversity. We had to be able to overcome penalties. We had to be able to overcome a silent count at home against the 12th man in the San Francisco 49ers, just packing the stadium again with their fan base. And this is what good football teams do. I always love the better coach and the better quarterback, but I will give Brock Purdy a ton of credit, because Brock Purdy was really damn impressive in this game, being able to buy in time, making timely throws, going through his progressions, getting on the same page as Juwan Jennings, who had 3 touchdowns and 100+ yards. Brandon Ayuk, I still don't understand the 4-year, $120 million contract, but without George Kittle as well, I will give some credit to Brock Purdy, because he was impressive.
I'm constantly impressed by Purdy. I want to not like the guy, but he's always out there. He's making a great effort, and he's keeping plays alive with his legs. And, you know, he's up there. He's a good quarterback. But at no point should anybody ever be saying they would rather have Brock Purdy than Matthew Stafford right now, because Matthew Stafford showed that he was the better quarterback in that game 100%. I mean, with like guys that, you know, should only really be taking preseason snaps are out there making big plays. We were both wrong, by the way. Whittington, Robinson, neither of them came close to the end zone.
I was looking at Parkinson. Parkinson was my anytime touchdown scorer. Kyron was actually, but Parkinson dropped a couple of passes that I thought he could have had. So it's room for improvement there for Colby Parkinson. But also, like, I mean, Kyron was a heavy favorite to score. I still want to just sit here and give a ton of credit to Tutu Atwell, because they were in 12 personnel, but he was the true field stretcher in a lot of different situations. They switched from 12 to 11 a couple of times. But when you're in 11, it's usually a 3-receiver set, right? An F, a Z, and an X. But when you're in 12, you're taking a receiver off of the field, which is so much different from the norm. I was saying to Dad, because I sat there and watched the game with our dad, and I was saying, this reminds me of the 2019 season when you had to make up for some of the inefficiencies on the offensive line, and you kind of had to reimagine your offense. And Sean McVay had said this in a presser at some point last week. He was like, without Cooper Kupp, without Puka Nacua, without 2 of our starting offensive linemen, we have to be able to reimagine the game plan. And what they did was they came prepared. They understood how to attack the defense. They understood that they have to use different personnel groupings. We have to be able to stick to the run game, even if we're down 14 points at any point, which they were. And they were down 10 points in the 4th quarter, and they still were able to ride the hot hand in Kyron Williams. Incredibly impressive across the board. And it's another feather in the cap for Sean McVay and Chris Shule, a defense who needed stops late in the game and were able to get them.
Yeah, I really, really wanted to. You know, I thought I was going to come on here. I didn't want to, but I thought I was going to come here today and do this pod and talk about how Shula's defense is inexperienced and they're not on the level. And I'm not sure that this guy should have gotten the job. And I'm not 100% over the hump on him. But I mean, to come up when you needed to in that fourth quarter and give the offense back the ball, which is all you had to do. They were able to get down there. They did it. So, I will, put the feather in Shula's cap, because I think when all was said and done, they did a really good job. But I want to give a shout out to Brian Flores and the Minnesota Vikings to show him how it was done, because I really think we cherry-picked some stuff from that game last week and adapted that into our defensive playbook.
You're so right. You had a couple, and I can't wait to go back and watch the tape, but they had a couple of max blitzes. They had a couple of crucial max coverage situations where they were able to bat the ball down. They were shifting the secondary. Secondary guys looked like they were still trying to figure out what their true responsibilities were, but they were definitely stealing some of the foundations of the Brian Flores defense. And you know what? You can't ask Chris Shula, and somebody, I think his name is Steven Davis on Twitter, so shout out Steven, made this point to us. And he was like, that's like telling Tom Brady how to throw a football. Chris Shula has been around defense his entire life. Yeah. And it's, it's a really good point, right? He comes from Don Shula, who he's the grandson of Don Shula. He's been around football for, played at the University of Miami, Ohio with Sean McVay back in college. Like he knows everything that he needs to know about calling a defense, has experience with Wade Phillips, has experience with Brandon Staley and Raheem Morris. And just to be able to, that's the difference in this league, though, is to be able to reimagine things, to be able to pick and choose in certain areas where you feel like you could adjust week to week. And Brian Flores laid out the perfect template. And Nick, to your point, I thought it was perfect to be able to steal some of those ideas, apply them to a crucial divisional rival game, and get your first win at home.
Don Shula, a little nepotiz to Chris Shula. I had that in the back burner since you said Don Shula from School Rock.
Yeah, no, fair. A little, that's exactly where that's from. I heard the Jack Black in it. I did. Yeah.
But that's how it is in the NFL at times, just because it's so hard to be around a football team. But buddies with Sean McVay. He came up clutch here. We'll take it. We'll definitely take it to stop Brock Purdy and get that sack, that like finally bringing him down when it felt like he was just, you were showing him everything, making sure that there was a cover on every single guy, only rushing 3, and then which gave him all that time back there. And then he'll pick up a couple with his legs. But, they dared him where it was like, pick up a couple, but it won't be enough. And it just wasn't enough. And we're sitting here because Jake Moody missed a 55-yarder in a Centroid dome. Thank you. Finally.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because they would have had to drove the entire field to be able to get back in that position and then go kick a field goal to tie the game. Yeah. Instead, they were given a chance to win it. But I'm looking at the play-by-play. So the final touchdown drive for the Niners was 11 plays, 91 yards. After that, 13 plays, 62 yards, a field goal. That put them up 24-14. And then it was all Rams. And then it was a field goal by the Rams. It was a touchdown by the Rams and a field goal. They were able to take the lead at that point in the final field goal. But the Niners ended with a missed field goal, 7 plays, 33 yards, and then a punt. And then obviously their last possession, only 2 seconds long. They tried the hook and ladder. They tried
almost
to pitch
did it. They almost did it. And I watched them against the Raiders in preseason, where the same thing happened, and they got that ball to the 1-yard line with hook and laddering. So everyone, like when I say everybody was texting me, congrats on the win, there was 2 seconds left. They also could have taken longer with the spike. Yeah, they had time on the play clock. Like the game should have, I think that's a mess up on Stafford. Ends up not biting them in the ass. But that is something that just they shouldn't have even had an opportunity there.
And guess what you got going on next weekend? You got the Chicago Bears, who are coming off of a really bad loss in the Indianapolis Colts, where Caleb Williams looks like he's continuously struggling, although he's immensely talented. You got an opportunity to be 500. And then the following week, you're going to have a rematch against your former offensive coordinator in Matt LaFleur, who's calling a hell of an offense for the Green Bay Packers. And then you got a week 6 bye. So if you can go 2-3 going into the bye, or if you could even pull out an upset against the Green Bay Packers, potentially with Jordan Love even being back in the rotation at that point, then I think you're putting yourself in a really decent spot with guys getting healthy, being able to kind of continuously reimagine things on offense. To be able to get back in the swing of things. Yeah.
Getting lucky with an early bye, which is almost never the case, but things are almost falling our way all of a sudden, where you get that early bye and people are like, they get a week of rest, especially these guys with like Puka and Cup who need it. So that's another week of them not being on the IR because they just get to sit out. I mean, they'll
Exactly
still be on the IR, but you know what I mean.
No, yeah, no, I think you're spot on, right? Because before the season started, we were like a week 6 bye.
Yeah, I hate that.
Really? Like that's at least we don't have to travel all the way to Lambeau Field the week before the bye, and we get the Packers at home, which is nice. We got to go play the Bears on the road, which I know a lot of Rams fans. Shout out Deb. I know she's going to see Matthew Stafford, who will be upright in that game. And now we're expecting the Rams to get a victory in Chicago. I think that game is going to be a lot of fun. I think the Rams are going to be favorites in that game for the first time this season.
Definitely. I texted you and Dad. I was like, I kind of hope Chicago pulls this out today because then they're like less hungry for like a home win. But they did not. And now, their defense is hella formidable. So it's not like I'm not looking at this like a rollover game. And just like we saw today with Bo Nix, where the rookie quarterback has a game where they just turn it on. That is to come, I think, with Caleb. Like it will happen. It is funny though that all the Bears fans told me that Fields is the guy, and Fields is 3-0.
Fields is 3-0. That's right, in Pittsburgh. Yeah, they look pretty good. They look like they're going to be a tough out. So game balls. Who are you giving a game ball out to? I know offensively, I want to give one to Kyren and Tutu.
I got 3. I said them already. Keen listeners of the pod will have heard them, but it's Kyren, it's Xavier Smith, and Shula. I'll give no, not Shula. I'm sorry, just 2. Cardi maybe. No, Cardi was the third one. I'm trying to
give one.
I said.
I'm giving one to Verse and Fisk too.
Yeah,
I'm giving one to Verse and Fisk. Because you know what? You know who really should get one? Because we talk about Verse and Fisk a ton. Byron Young. Byron Young had an incredible game. I think he had 2 forced fumbles in that game, or one that was picked up, or they called Purdy's knee down on that quarterback sneak. But Byron Young was all over the field. Verse and Young were switching sides. I just really impressed by the front. I thought Kobe Turner played really well. I can't wait to go back and watch the tape to see how much pressure they were able to generate just by rushing 3. We were talking about the max coverage thing from Brian Flores. They did that a ton. They also were able to blitz. I think they were able to get enough pressure on Purdy to a point where, like, you're just missing a little bit on execution in terms of closing out the play in the secondary. Some of those plays should have been pick sixes. I mean, a corner can get a beat on one of those plays and be able to take it to the house. That's exactly what you got to be able to do. So
you just have one more guy in there whose name rhymes with Schmammeld, and you're in a whole different, situation, because there was times where they're like getting to him, but they're not like, arms out, like fully, like they're like running at him full speed where he can just do like a little dodge. But Donald had that ability to just like, get his arms wide enough to just fully wrap around him.
Yeah.
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah, but we're also, I think we ain't done yet.
Yeah.
I think we ain't done yet.
This isn't over. Bears.
Oh, man. And you know what? Apologies. Again, apologies to you, Tutu Atwell.
Yes. Oh, my God. Oh, Tutu. No. Sorry. 3 game balls. Smith, Atwell, Williams.
Let's go. Rams fans. Thank you guys for listening.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead. What do you got?
This episode is brought to you by Autograph.
Yes.
Referral code is RAMSBROS. Type that in when you download Autograph. If you listen to our pod through their app, you will get points that will add up to like memorabilia that you can buy or tickets. It's a great app. Check it out. Referral code RAMSBROS. We appreciate you guys listening, and go Rams, baby. We are not done yet.
We're not done yet. We appreciate you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment your guys' thoughts on this game. Let us know your outlook for the rest of the season, and we can't wait to talk to you next time.
Yeah.
Peace.
Horns up, baby.